This is the story of two young girls who were victims of sexual violence. Karina from Quito, Ecuador, and another girl from West Virginia, USA, who we will call Sarah. Karina was a 16-year-old part-time model living in Quito. She was out partying one night with her friend, Cecilia, when they met up with two boys they knew, David Piñas and one of his friends. After the party, the boys dropped Cecilia off at her house and left with Karina. After Cecilia left, David and his friends took Karina into the woods, raped and tortured her, and eventually murdered her. Karina was a victim of femicide. Unsurprisingly, this case attracted a lot of media attention. However, instead of holding the boys fully accountable for their actions, the news stories emphasized Karina's modeling and her alcohol intake that night to create an image of a 16-year-old girl who somehow set herself up to be raped through her own irresponsibility or loose morals. On the other hand, we have Sarah, a 20-year-old girl from West Virginia who was a victim of rape in Steubenville, Ohio. Just like Karina, she was drinking the night of her assault. And just like Karina, the media used this fact against her. Sarah was raped by several members of an Ohio high school football team. However, after the assault, the coach of these players, who knew about the rape, failed to report the incident to any authority or punish the players in any way. The media coverage of this event was largely focused on the futures of the football players, who could potentially lose scholarships because of what they had done. No mention was made of Sarah's future or the trauma that she would face for the rest of her life. Again, the media focused on what Sarah should have done to prevent her rape, and how the boys who raped her were drunk and couldn't help themselves. Despite the different cultural context, these girls faced similar traumas and similar reactions from the media, which in both cases shifted the blame to the victims rather than the abusers. Despite the geographic and cultural differences, these two parallel cases show the universal attitudes of the media with respect to sexual violence against women. In both instances, the girls and their assailants had been partying and were under the influence of drugs or alcohol. However, the media interprets intoxicated women much differently than intoxicated men. For the assailants, their intoxication was used to justify their actions. For the victims, it was used to justify their assault. This attitude in the press shifts the blame to women, instructing them to police their clothing, drunkenness, and behavior at all times to make men respect them and therefore protect themselves against sexual violence.
Created using Powtoon.